Ibi.
Ibi, say hello.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Reverend. I haven't seen you for a couple.
Nice to see you.
I hope you're well.
Happy birthday, Ibi.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ibi.
Oh,
Happy
thank
birthday,
you.
Ibi.
Love to you, much
Hey,
love.
Ibi.
Thank you very much.
Rashid.
Happy birthday, Ibi.
Thank you.
You're too young to be 84.
Hello, Ibi.
Too young to be 84.
That's for sure. Look at you. That's for sure.
No, it must be 48.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
You look so good.
Ibi is not 84. Ibi is celebrating the 63rd anniversary of his 21st birthday.
Happy birthday.
I love it. I love it.
Happy birthday, Ibi. From Damascus.
How's my friends in Damascus?
Yeah. Marion and Eva.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all so much. I think if we let that go on, we could go on for hours and it might be chaos. We do have a program for the evening. And for that, I'm going to hand over to Molly Dlamini, who will be chairing this session. And just to say, I will have the unfortunate role of being the bouncer for the meeting. I think everyone has a lot to say, so we're going to try keep inputs short, and Molly and I will try and come in gently and respectfully to manage the time, because I know we all would like to say something. Thank you so much, and Molly, over to you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to everyone who is in the platform who have come here to say happy birthday to Comrade Ibi. My name is Louis, as I've been introduced by Louis. I'll be the director of the program tonight, and I'd like to recognize the friends, families that are present today, the ministers, the ambassadors, the generals, and most importantly, the family of Ibi and the children that are here. And I'll quickly go to Shannon, the wife to Ibi, who will speak first before we go straight to the program. Shannon, over to you.
Thank you very much, Molly. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and a big thank you for joining us in this 84th birthday tribute to Ibi. I'm just going to speak to you briefly. When I think of Ibi and the life that he has lived, I always go back to the stories that have had the greatest impact on me. 1964, Ibi in a crowded cell on Robben Island with 80 other prisoners. Lying on a scratchy sisal mat on the freezing cold cement floor, the icy winter drafts invading his prison cell. Lying back to back with two other comrades and sharing blankets, as the threadbare single-issue blankets were not warm enough. Having to wear the same dirty work uniform all week, as the laundry was only done on the weekends. Having no toilet paper for the first few months. And brackish water to shower in so the soap didn't rinse off properly. What is hard to imagine is him chopping stones all day and then having to study for 4 hours at night. And all the while being shouted at by the warders who were 6 or 7 years younger than him. Being strip searched after a day of hard labor and being made to stand naked, yes, naked, in a line, exposed to the elements, whether rain or shine. It certainly must have been a living hell. But you never hear Ibi lamenting about how terrible it was or how torturous. He prefers to talk about how the ANC prisoners kept morale high and how they found ways to smuggle in news of the outside world and established a covert system of political education. He talks about their resistance to the draconian practices of the prison authorities, through hunger strikes and downing their tools. And they won small victories that slowly changed things, so that by the time he was released after 15 years, it was marginally more bearable. Ibi is such a quiet, humble, and gentle soul that I can hardly imagine him undergoing military training in the ANC camps in Angola, assembling and disassembling an AK-47 and doing military drills. But I can see him collecting world news for the camp from the international radio stations and reading it out in their daily assemblies, and quietly standing guard on night shift, keeping an eye out for UNITA and SADF attacks. These are just some of the many experiences that make up the tapestry of Ibi's life and will form part of his memoirs that I do promise he is close to finishing. We love him for being the essence of humility, for being such a caring husband and attentive father. As tired as he has been lately, he still tests our 12-year-old son on his schoolwork, and this week it was on the formation of volcanoes. He may have only gotten married for the first time at 67, but these 2 decades with Ibi have been full of adventure and happy moments as he embraced life as a free man. Our first trip together was in India, where we went on a camel safari in the Great Thar Desert on the border between India and Pakistan. Ibi never slept a wink in the first night in the desert, after the 90-year-old camel guide only gave him a sleeping bag to sleep on in the desert sand and no tent, and the winter wind froze him solid to the point he was unable to get back on his camel the next day and had to walk it. Our honeymoon was spent guerrilla trekking in the eastern Congo, where Ibi managed to fall into a river despite 2 porters on either arm. Those porters would cut through the virgin jungle with panga knives. That is just a taste of the types of adventures that we had. Now life is slowing down for him, and it is time to reflect on the myriad of experiences that have made up his very full life. We pray for his full recovery so that we can have more time with him and be together as a family. Thank you for always being there for us, Ibi, and we love you from the bottom of our hearts, and happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for that tribute and for sharing the stories that you know, the story of your life with Ibi, the exciting things that you did. I'd like to say before we proceed, we would like to thank SALO for organizing this event, and together with the family, in consultation with the family. SALO has been wanting to do this for a long time, and this was the perfect timing because Ibi has been contributing to SALO's events in the SALO dialogues about conflict in the African continent, and Ibi has been there. So we are grateful that SALO was able to do this tonight. And as we move, we would like now to welcome Mam Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma to speak. And Mam Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is an old friend of Ibi. Mam Nkosazana Dlamini is an NEC member of the ANC. She's a former African Union chair, and she's also the current minister in the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. And I won't say much because we don't have more time to, talk about her long CV. Over to you, Mam Nkosazana.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me greet all those who are here. And let me start by extending a very warm congratulations to Ibi. It is indeed a very happy moment for Ibi, Shannon, and the children that he is celebrating his 84th birthday. From our side, we are really saying if it wasn't for this COVID, this would be an occasion where so many people would want to celebrate Comrade Ibi's life. that, Comrade Ibi, that you have passed the oxygen phase of life is indeed a very, it's a very big achievement, both for you, but also for our organization. So we would like to wish you strength. We want to wish you more energy and many years. At an organizational level, I would just like to say, we wish there would be many EBs to counsel, to advise, as we try to pursue the elusive cohesion and unity in our organization. But at the same time, the fight against COVID has exposed the inadequacies of our prevailing situation of hunger, poverty, and inequality, and unemployment. And I know that Ibi, all his life, has fought for a better life for all. He gave all his life to that. And I want to just say, I spent quite a bit of time with Ibi in Swaziland when he was underground. And I was one of the people that had to work with him. And I'll just quote one incident that shows how Ibi's sense of humor. So when he was supposed to go back into the country, and there was discussion about how he would disguise. So me being young, and I said, oh, why don't you disguise as an old man with white hair, gray hair, and so on? And he said, oh, a young man like me, having gray hair, no. And he was very adamant that he can't be disguising as an old man. And of course, you can see why he didn't want to disguise as an old man. You can see from the wife he married, a bubbling Shannon, that he just couldn't think of himself as an old man. But working with him underground taught us a lot of discipline. He was very disciplined because the very survival depended on all of us being disciplined. And that's one thing I want to highlight. And also to just highlight that he worked well, whether you were old or young. He treated you as a comrade, respected you, and we knew that when he was there amongst us, even though he was underground, we had confidence that things would go right. But also coming back into the country, it was great having Ibi. And when he got married, it was really nice to see how happy he was to be married. And we want to actually say to Shannon, thank you very much for being the wife you are and for giving him the kids you gave him. And I think that makes Ibi's life very different and makes him very happy. And we know that he cannot be truly happy until everyone has a better life in South Africa. So even though he's 84, he hasn't forgotten that he's an ANC cadre and that he has to act as an ANC cadre. And we learn a lot from that, because somebody would say, I'm 84, leave me alone. I've made my contribution, don't touch me now. But you can talk to Ibi anytime about anything, actually. So we are very grateful to you, Ibi, for all the contribution you made to South Africa for your contribution for the liberation of South Africa, but for the contribution to our own growth as cadres of this movement, and also for your friendship. And I don't want to take time. I see the list is very long. So I want to congratulate you once more and say happy birthday. But you have a very special birthday because today is Chinese centenary. So you were born on a very special day, and you've lived up to that. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Ipi. But congratulations, Shannon and the kids, for having made sure you kept him up to this age, and many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susanna, for this kind words.
Thank you, Evie, and thank you, Madlamini, for this tribute and for sharing some stories. Before we move to the next speaker, I'd like to say the name of Ebrahim means father of many in Hebrew, and it also in Arabic it refers to the prophet and the patriarch, and one of Allah's messengers in the Quran. And so Ibi, we see you as that father of many, and we see you as that messenger for the liberation struggle. And we are glad that tonight the fellow prophetesses are speaking, and Mamu Nkosazana is one of those, the prophets of the struggle, and another one will be following Comrade J.C. Duarte, the Deputy General Secretary of the African National Congress. I also want to say more because she also has an illustrious CV. Over to you, Comrade J.C.
Thank you, Comrade. Thank you, Comrade Molly, and good evening, Comrade Ibi. Happy birthday! Let me just say that I'm honestly very happy that we're celebrating this moment with you. I can only tell people that I truly miss you because I miss your humor, keeping us together in very serious moments, explaining matters of international importance in a manner that people understand very simply but very fundamentally. I enjoyed working with you over the years. In DIRCO, your expertise in conflict resolution and management was par excellence. Your understanding of the conflict in Burundi is something I will never forget, having read all those reports and your explanation of the different elements of that conflict, and going beyond the characters that appear in the media, but understanding the rudiments of what causes a conflict and how long it could last in the lifetime of a country. And if there are no certain things put in place, why it would last that long. Understanding that from you was perhaps one of the biggest lessons of my life, I must say. But what is much more important was your contribution in the NEC of the ANC. I always regarded you as that quiet sage who only spoke once in the NEC. But when you spoke, everybody listened because you made absolute sense. And you spoke with an authority and a passion that was based on principle. You were never populist in any of the things you did or said, and I really admired that. So now I'm thinking about Swaziland. Nkosazana said you worked in Swaziland with her for a long time, and it's been a particularly tough day in Swaziland today. And I was tempted yesterday to give you a call, and I thought Shannon wouldn't like that very much. But the fact of the matter is, your input, we miss your energy, we miss your expertise, your laughter. We miss the fact that you were an older brother, but not a patriarch. I want to say that, because many men in our society who are experts become automatic patriarchs and very arrogant and very, they automatically think women won't understand what they say. You never did that. You never did that to anybody that was around you. And I must say, I went through your, the people in your old department of IR put together your CV. And I asked them why, and they said, look, Comrade Ibi is the quintessential revolutionary. There isn't anything he hasn't done. He was an activist, freedom fighter. He built was part of building the democracy afterwards. All we can do is say, thank you, Ibi, for everything you've done for our country and for the ANC and for all of us in the ANC. All of us who are younger than you, thank you very much and happy birthday. I hope you're going to have a glass of something, not just speeches. Happy birthday, Ibi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jason.
Okay. Thank you very much, DSG, Comrade Jesse, for sharing, those warm words. We'll now move straight to Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, who also spent time with Comrade Ibi in Swaziland, and she also serves in the current administration as the Minister of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, and she also serves in the NEC of the ANC. And I'll also just stop there because everyone's CV is illustrious tonight. Over to you, Minister Sisulu. Louis, please advise.
Sorry, Molly, I was just checking if she was in. I don't think she's in yet. Maybe we can come back to her when she manages to join.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's fine. She is followed by Comrade Lindiwe Zulu, another Lindiwe. Yeah, it looks like everybody speaking here has a link to Swaziland in a way. Comrade Lindiwe Zulu is the chairperson of the NEC IR subcommittee of the African National Congress, and she's also the Minister of Social Development. Over to you, Makeba.
Thank you very much, Comrade Molly. I'm tempted to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Comrade Ibi. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, COVID has deprived us of being around you and looking at your smile and seeing you and Shannon and the family. Thank you very much, Comrade Ibi, and thank you for your contribution, not only to building democratic institutions under democracy, but for your contribution to the liberation struggle, which is a history that I'm hopeful that sooner or later we'll have people reading and reading and reading what you are doing there at home. Hopefully you are writing. This is an opportune moment for us to really, really thank you. And also thank God that you are still here with us and you have survived. I can't imagine what it had been for you to be admitted and be out. We just thank the blessings that you are out here and you are with us. Also, as other speakers have said, I wish to also thank Comrade Shannon for really stepping up and sticking it out there with all the difficulties that we've had of late. Thank you very much, Shannon. Thank you very much with the kids, and thank you for making Comrade Ibi's life very exciting and happy. I know that you've traveled a bit around the country just to see the different beautiful sceneries of South Africa. I wish to thank you for that. But most importantly, also, Comrade Ibi, thank you very much for your contributions to the international relations and the foreign policy development of South Africa. And thank you for your participation in the IR subcommittee. You've been there all for us. We call you at awkward times. We want to tap into your energy, tap into your experience. Thank you for always being there for us and for the African National Congress. And thank you for being there for the people of South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makeba. I think Evie wants to say something as well. Evie?
No, just thank you for the kind words I was going to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Evie. Thank you, Makeba, for the tribute. We were supposed to have Comrade Obed Bapela, but because he has a speaking engagement, but he'll join us as soon as he is done. We will go straight to the ambassador of China, and I hope he is ready. Louis, is the ambassador ready?
He is in. I think he is ready, yes.
Oh, okay. And as we wait for him to appear on the screen, we want to say happy birthday to the Chinese Communist Party. It's very interesting that its birthday is today, and
thank you.
And we are grateful that we were also reminded about that, and it's also interesting that you also share the same year with the South African Communist Party, which is also going to be celebrating its 100 years in a few months. Thank you. Over to you, Ambassador Chiang Jiadong.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ebrahim, Madame Shannon, Mr. Dr. Dlamini Zuma, DSG Durati, Mr. Shisulu, Mr. Zuma, Zulu, ladies and gentlemen, July 1st is indeed a day worth celebrating. Today, the Communist Party of China celebrates its centenary. We are also very happy to know that it's Mr. Ibrahim's 84th birthday today. Just now, many of us together celebrate the CPC centenary, and now we are gathering online again for Mr. Ibrahim's birthday. I would like to extend on behalf of the Chinese Embassy in South Africa warmest birthday congratulations to Mr. Ebrahim. Mr. Ebrahim, you are a senior leader of the ANC's movement. You have made huge contributions to the cause fighting with leaders, including President Mandela against apartheid and for liberation. You have also since taken up important posts both in the party and in the government, and you are admired by the people. From the book you gave me, ANC's Bible, I have gained full knowledge about how you and old generations of ANC leaders put your own life against great odds to fight against apartheid and for equality and freedom. I deeply admire your revolutionary struggles and spirit. In order to further advance our movement, we need many more heroes of the time, like Mr. Ebrahim, who sacrificed oneself for the greater good. Mr. Ebrahim, you are an old friend of the Chinese people. You made important contribution to the rapid and sound development of China-South Africa relations as one of the pioneers who have been traveling to China to strengthen our ties from as early as 1997. The CPC and the ANC are both major parties over 100 years old. The two parties have respectively led our two countries and peoples towards great achievement in the quest for national liberation and economic development. Throughout the more than half a century of exchanges, the two parties have always cooperated with each other, sincerely, with mutual understanding and support. As we look back at our great journeys, and forward at our promising future beyond the CPC's centenary. It's believed that with the support of progressive friends like Mr. Ebrahim, the relations between our two parties and countries will make great achievement to benefit our peoples. Madam Shannon, you are also always uphold revolutionary and progressive positions, and you are also a good friend of China. You have given us a long-term support for China, especially for my embassy and also for myself. You will soon take over as South Africa's Consulate General in Hong Kong. It's believed that during your term in Hong Kong, you will continue to play an important role in promoting exchanges and cooperation between our two sides. My dear brothers, South Africa is indeed going through a difficult time facing the impact of third wave of COVID-19. I wish Mr. Ebrahim, all our friends with us today, your families, and everyone in South Africa the best of health, and I am confident that all will eventually get through the pandemic at an earlier date. Mr. Ebrahim, on a special and auspicious day like today, we would like to wish you a most speedy and earlier recovery. Happy birthday once again to you, and we wish you and your family all the best. Thank you. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador. I really appreciate your kind words.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you. We will now move with speed to another ambassador from Norway, Her Excellency Astrid Emily Helle. And we are grateful, Ambassador, that you are also here today. And we just always appreciate the role that Norway continues to play in the area of women, peace and security. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and happy birthday, dear Evie. Congratulations. It's a fantastic honor to be sharing this day with you. Really, it's fantastic. I think it's a testimony to your warmth and to your charisma that we can even feel it in a Zoom meeting. We can feel all the love you are surrounded with in your family, and we can feel all the warmth of your friends and colleagues around you. And in order to do that in a Zoom meeting, I think it says a lot about you, Ebrahim. Of course, I would like to congratulate your whole family, your fantastic wife and your children. And I would like to congratulate South Africa. A lot has been said and written about you and your remarkable life and your incredible courage and your personal sacrifices for a democratic and free South Africa. Your birthday is a perfect time to remind you of what a wonderful person you are, not only all the wonderful things you have done. Shannon, who knows you better than most, has so eloquently described you as a gentle revolutionary. But did you rest at the end of the revolution? No. You served the democratic South Africa. And were you satisfied to see the rise of the democratic South Africa, where your children can be free? No. You also want others to have the same freedom as you got and your children after so much sacrifice. So I also want to thank you, Ebrahim, for all the efforts that you have carried out for decades. And we have been honored to partner with you and SALO and ITI, also to promote the experience of South Africa and yourselves for countries in Africa. and people on the African continent who are still struggling and suffering. So thank you very much for that. Oscar Wilde said once that with age comes wisdom, but sometimes age comes alone. And he was right. Apparently, scientists have found that growing older is no guarantee of growing wiser. But you are a man of great wisdom, Ebrahim. And your engagement and your wisdom, it came from a very, very young age. You were youth activist at 15. You had the right values and engagement at the age of 15. So your wisdom has been lifelong. Thank you so much for the honor of being able to share your birthday today. I hope all your birthday wishes will come true. And don't think of it as getting older. Just think of it today as a day that you can eat as much cake as you like. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your kind words. We will now move a bit back and we will now ask Comrade Lindiwe Sisulu to speak. And we have already introduced her and have already shared a little bit about her, but now that she's about to speak, I'll repeat. So Comrade Lindiwe Sisulu served with Comrade EB in Swaziland. They were together in Swaziland. She's a friend of EB's. She currently serves in the NEC of the ANC, and she's currently the Minister of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation. Over to you, Comrade Lindy.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And I'd like to say to everybody who's here to wish Ibi happy birthday. Thank you for your presence. And to Ibi, I love you. You know that. I love you that much and much more. And I've had the occasion to speak at Ibi's 70th birthday, and I indicated that, you know, when I see Ibi, when I think about him and what he's done, his humility, I wish that everybody in the ANC were like Ibi. It would be such an incredible organization if we just took a leaf from his own character. What Ibi has gone through for the struggle is amazing, and you'll never hear him going around saying, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I was responsible for. He's just a down-to-earth, very committed comrade. I worked with him in Swaziland for a very long time, and it was the most gruesome time of our struggle. A time when any time you would hear that somebody had been kidnapped, somebody had been killed. I heard from Ibi that Shadrach Mapumulo had been shot, and the gory details of how it happened, how he had pushed the wardrobe to close the door, and they shot right through the wardrobe and they shot him. We were with Ibi in Swaziland when Zima had 2 children, and he was taking the 2 children to school. They lived in one of our hideaway houses in Malkerns. And as he came down, got his keys, got into the car, waiting for the kids to come and join him. I think the lucky side of that is that he started the car before the kids got into the car. But as he switched on the car blew him to pieces. And Ibi and all of those who were in Swaziland were there to pick up the pieces, hug each other, try to be strong. It was a terrible, terrible time. Swaziland was the first port of call for the South Africans whenever they wanted to do anything that was earth-shatteringly nasty. And so we lived on the edge of whether we we were alive or not, and looked after each other very much. And EB was same normal self, but fortunately for him, he wasn't one of those conspicuous people like Gepuza. I hope Gepuza is not in the meeting. So he would stick to his corner, work conscientiously. He was always working on something very quietly, getting on with his business. Sometimes rocking up at my house. Ebi, how did you get here? No, I just wanted to see if you're okay. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. All of us were under threat. This was about the period of 1980, 86, 87. I'm not sure. Then the worst thing happened, and they pounced on Ibi. They must have been following him. I'm not sure how they managed to pounce on Ibi. They pounced on Ibi and took him. And he had one request to make of them. He said, look, I need to talk to somebody because it is something very urgent. And they allowed him because they thought he was going to be revealing some secrets. So Ibi says, Lindy, they've come to pick me up. And I freeze. And he says, you know, there's something I want you to do for me. I said, what? Well, he says, I have a young boy here who works for me in the garden. He's just about to write his matric in a week's time. And now that I'm gone, he's not going to be able to do that. Can you help? And I thought, here is a man who doesn't know whether he's going to get shot in 2 minutes, and all he can think about is this young man who's supposed to write his exams, and him being away would disrupt his entire life. And I just couldn't stop crying. And he says, don't cry, I'll be okay. And I wanted to say, I'm not crying about you. I'm crying because you're just an incredible person. And of course, the phone went dead and Ibi was gone. They had taken him away. And the following day, we went to see the house. And we found the young boy. Of course, he was extremely distressed because Ibi was the beginning and the end of his life. I could spend the whole day talking about Ibi. I've been in this space before and I've talked about him before, but he makes me so proud to be ANC. He is one of those people whose life should be put out there, and our children should be taught that this is what being a member of the ANC means. Ibi did not want any glory out of the role that he had played. He didn't want to have any eminent positions in the ANC. He just went along and did what was supposed to be done. And he's truly inspirational, truly, truly inspirational. I worked with him when I was Minister of International Relations, trying to solve the problems of Madagascar and various other places. And the calmness with which he approached some of these issues made me realize that we have lost all those things that count as members of the ANC. The ANC now has turned out to be a very different organization. The ANC is about each one of us, each one, how much we contributed, how big we are, what it is, and none of them measure up to Ibi, none. And you'll never even hear him counted amongst the stars in our firmament. And he's, I could go on, I'm sorry, I could go on. But to Ibi, I love you, and the good thing about it is your wife and your children know you that I love you round the world. And I am glad that you're back home. I hope you have recovered. And I don't know how we can replicate you so that every member of the ANC is like you. We would be so far in our revolution. We would be so far in giving back to our people what they deserve. I don't know if Ibi, I don't know. I love you, Ibi. Happy birthday, sweetie pie. And to the people who've arranged the function for today, I'm sorry I was late. I live under a mountain in Cape Town, and very often my internet is disrupted. I would have been the first one to speak, and I would have possibly taken somebody else's time, because that is how much I want to say about Ibi. But Ibi represents all of those things that when I grew up and I was taught about the ANC, I was taught about all the qualities that Ibi has. I mean, at that time, he was very young too. But what I'm saying is that I could see them in Ibi. This is what the ANC was. This is what the ANC should be. And there are so few of them now. Thank you so much, Ibi. Thank you for being a pillar of support for me in my most difficult times. Thank you for allowing me in your space. I won't talk about the other matter. Shannon won't want me to talk about the matter of the chocolates, would you, Shannon?
No. Go ahead.
I should go ahead. Okay, now here's another side of Ibi. Ibi was every woman's dream man. So when Ibi is arrested, he is taken, and I phone Priscilla, and Priscilla Jana goes and represents Ibi. And of course, she is known to be Ibi's lawyer. And she says to me one day, you have no idea the number of women who brought chocolates for me to give over to Ibi. Hundreds and hundreds of boxes of chocolates. All of these are people who just fell in love with Ibi because he is just who he is. And so I asked Priscilla, so what did you do with the chocolates? Priscilla says, you know, what was I going to do giving Ibi chocolates? I ate them up. So I thought to myself, wow, Priscilla, that is the biggest mistake you made. Look at you now. At that time, Priscilla just had a sari to ring around her body because of all the chocolates she's been eating from Ibi's girlfriends. And they were never allowed to see Ibi, which was good because now we have beautiful Shannon with beautiful children, and I'm glad we got rid of all the other people. So Shen, thank you so much for looking after Ibi. Thank you for being the wonderful wife you are. Thank you for everything. And I hope you stop crying now because he is as healthy as you can have it. And love you both.
Thank you very much, Lindy. Thank you for reminding of our days in Swaziland. But thank you for your kind words there.
Yeah, they were terrible, but we survived them.
Thank you very much, Sis Lindy, for those stories, the nice stories that we can't find in books, but at least you shared about those stories tonight. And I think for me, the one that moves me a lot is about that young boy that Ibi wanted you to take care of. So thank you, Comrade Lindy. And before we move to the next speaker, I'd like to recognize the presence of President Halima Motlanthe, who has also joined us not so long ago. President Halima, I don't know if you want to wave. If you're not ready to wave now, you can wave later. And I must also just say we are almost done with the speakers that were in the program, and we will be soon after that we will, allow people who would like to share a little bit about Ibi, and people would like to share and wish Ibi a happy birthday. So we will now go to, he has many prefixes before his name. Honorable, His Royal Highness, Comrade Chief Zweli Velile Mandela, who is an MP, but he's also, most importantly, he's the traditional leader of Umvezo, Komkhulu, the great place. Is the son of Makgatho Lewanika Mandela and Nolusapo Mandela Perry, and the grandson of our father, President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. I won't say much except to say that he's playing in Parliament, he's playing a critical role on the issues of the land, the land that is very important to us. Over to you, Chief.
Thank you, Comrade Molly. Let me first and foremost allow me to wish a happy 84th birthday to Uncle Ebi. I am sure that everyone in our movement and the country as a whole would join me in saluting you for your contribution to our freedom, democracy, and human rights for all. You have lived through the most trying times since your childhood, and yet continue to carry yourself with dignity, sobriety, and a gentle calm. You have been praised by heroes and giants of our struggle for values that you embody, and the example of courage, bravery, shared determination that you have demonstrated in the most trying times of our struggle for liberation. To show courage occasionally or in times of relative ease is no achievement, but to show it so consistently from a young age is the most trying of times, and at the height of apartheid state repression is the hallmark of a true leader. Comrade Fidel Castro said of Comandante Camillo, "There are many Camillos amongst the people." I wish to say this evening that there are many Comrade Ibis amongst us, especially this time where we have to restore our movement, its values, principles, and policies. The latter was very synonymous with your name, Comrade Ibi, in the view of my grandfather, and any reference he made on your name would always be qualified with great admiration when he would say, Comrade Ibi understands the policies of our movement. We salute you this evening and thank you and Comrade Shannon for the singular honor of participating virtually in your birthday celebrations. It is a privilege which we shall share with generations to come. Your legacy is one that we shall remember and tend to. Each July, we always remember you in the words of Jose Marti, when he said, "I have a white rose to tend in July as in January. I give it to the true friend." Thank you for being a true friend of our people and generations of leaders. We love you and pray for your health and well-being. Happy birthday, Comrade Ibi.
Thank you, Mandla. Thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. And we also appreciate your steadfast commitment for the liberation of the Palestinian people. And we know that Comrade Ibi is also passionate about that struggle and that of the Western Sahara people in Venezuela. We'll quickly now move to the next speaker. And the next speaker is Eunice Shaik. And Eunice Shaik served with Ibi in one of the MK units, and Eunice Shaik was the leader of the unit, and Comrade Ibi was the commander. Over to you, Comrade Eunice.
Thank you and happy birthday, Comrade Ibi. I must say, two of the speakers really resonate with me. And I always sort of discover bits and pieces of our life when we have these meetings. I didn't know that Comrade Nkosazana prepared Ebrahim's disguise when he was returning into the country. it was my job to collect him at the border. And the way this mission was set up, 6 months before, I think it was in December, I had gone into Swaziland in about 1984, and I had to see, or 83, I don't remember when. I think it was Ivan Pillay and Ray. And then they advised me that our unit was selected for a mission. And Ebrahim gave me the details of the mission, but I only saw him for 1 hour. And it was arranged that I should see him or pick him up again in 6 months' time. I think it was, I forget the dates or the months now, but let's, for argument's sake, it was June or something in the following year. So my job was to pick him up at a border point between Swaziland and South Africa. I'd only seen Ibi for an hour the year before, and I had to pick him up and drive him into South Africa. So, and I didn't know anything about the disguise, what kind of disguise he was going to have. So, you know, I just had to meet a man, and the arrangement was a Coke bottle will be left on the side of the road, and I should use that Coke bottle as a marker. And fine, I come across a Coke bottle, I think to myself, gee, this got to be the spot. So I travel back a bit, I come back to this Coke bottle, and I see someone run to the car, I open the door, he gets in, and I start driving away. Now, through the side of my eye, I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking to myself, now this can't be him. This guy's too old. Jesus Christ, I picked up the wrong guy. You know, I'm gonna be a complete idiot. Imagine being sent on a mission to pick up someone and you get the wrong guy. You get like someone who's so much more older. So I'd gone into a complete panic, thinking that I had picked up someone else, until he spoke, you know, and he speaks in such a distinctive way. That was a dead giveaway. I had the right man, you know, so I started to laugh. I was so relieved I actually picked up Ebrahim, you know. So, but that is so true of Ebrahim. He is such a quiet and gentle revolutionary, and I think Nkosazana did a really good job when she prepared him to send him into the country. I just couldn't recognize him at that moment. But the thing about him is he's exactly as Lindiwe says, you know, we housed him in the country. I think Oliver Tambo had sent him to do a mission to consult. I think it was the Kabwe conference. And you'll always find him quietly sitting at his desk. He was always living such a purposeful life, you know, and getting on with what he had to do in a manner so resolute. And he was very respectful to junior comrades like myself. I mean, I must have been about 27, and I think he was about 50. But he always entertained all our arguments, our views with so much of respect. And he was such a courageous man, you know, in a quiet way, so utterly courageous. I remember when his whereabouts in the country was discovered, and we had to extract him out of his living quarters. He was in a building, a 40 sort of floor building or something like that, quite big. So it fell on me to go into this building. It was completely surrounded by security branch, and quietly get him in and retrieve him and take him to another safe house. And as cold as ice, you know, Ebrahim, without blinking, without showing any anxiety, just calmly picks up his stuff, walks out the building. And, you know, it was with such relief I was able to extract him. And then I had to hand him over to another unit so that they could return him back to Swaziland. And I remember at one stage I was driving with him to the drop-off point. And I became so anxious, I started to cry. And Ibi says to me, don't worry, Yunus, don't cry. Everything will be all right. I says, no, I'm not crying for me. I'm crying for you. You just got out for 10 years. They'll send you in for another 20 years. So, but he was like that. He was always giving emotional support to the younger comrades. He was always caring about us, always entertaining our ideas and engaging with us in respectful debate. And I think it's why over the very many decades that has passed, we have all grown so close and remained so attached to him, because he has such a loving manner about him. All my brothers, Mo, Chippy, Shabir, we always inquire about him. And when we heard recently he's been ill, it has been such an anxious moment for all of you and for all of us, hoping that he would recover out of this difficult time he's having with his health. And we are also grateful, I think, that Shannon is there, and he's got his beautiful daughter, Sarah and Caden, to give him support. And we really wish you well, Ibi. You've been an absolute stalwart of the movement. And we thank you for your dedicated service to us and to all of us who were in that generation that followed after you. I think you've given us a great example and an exemplar for us all to follow. We salute you, Ebrahim, and we send you all our love and best wishes. I see Siri Soni is also on board. Siri Soni was also part of the mission of trying to extract and return Ebrahim back to Swaziland. So from all of us in the unit MJK, we send you our very best love, Ibi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Yunus.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say, whether to say General or Elder Yunus Shaikh, but thank you very much for those stories. It shows that Comrade Ibi is just consistent throughout in terms of who he is. We will now move swiftly to Ambassador Majaji Mdingi. Ibi served with Ambassador Majaji Mdingi in Robben Island, and Ambassador Majaji is also a former ambassador to Guinea. Over to you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Comrade Program Director. I must say from the beginning, to start with wishing Ibi a better, stronger life for him, for Shannon, and for the boys and the girl. I'm not blaming anybody for the constraint on time, because we don't have time, all of us. And as a result of that, I've decided to split my 5 minutes allotted to me into 4 spaces, which I hope I will not go beyond 1 minute over that 5 minutes. The first slot from my side is when I met Chota, as he was known by the cell inmates. I first met Chota in 1964 when he arrived on Robben Island to do his 15 years, which he was sentenced to. He was with a company of people like Billionaire, people like Sunny Singh, people like Kenny Ndlovu, people like George Naika, people like Shedrack Mapumulo, Jacob Zuma, etc., etc. This man struck me from the beginning because I was very young. Ibi is about 11 years older than me. And I could see this person was very passionate about humanity in the little discussions we have. And I had the privilege of sharing a cell with him, which was called Cell C, where people were studying up to university were accommodated. So closer and closer we got. That is the first part as to when I saw him and I met him. Now, the second part of my presentation here, which is hopefully and painfully, it is 4 minutes, is the milestones that EB wrote in his stay on Robben Island. It so happened that political education was the foremost and most important aspect of all political prisons at the time. And like any other type of situation, the extremes sometimes shoot up and cause some little bit of chaos and a disturbance to the unity, because unity was the most respected aspect for our cordial stay at the island. It so happened that out of those political education sittings that used to take place, some ultra-leftism came out. And it came out at a point around about 1968, where it became even a threat to the unity of the movement that were staying within Robben Island. It was this is the first milestone where I could learn from Ibi that this man is not just there for the revolution. This man is also a problem solver. At the height of this situation, where some comrades were referred to as reactionaries, and that I don't want to get into the details of that, but what I want to do is a milestone of how Ibi sorted out the problem. Ibi sat down and wrote a paper which he entitled as Cliques and Cliquism. And this paper, he shared it with me in the cell, and then I suggested to him that because he was sitting on the disciplinary committee, that he should present it to the disciplinary committee in the interest of the unity of the movement. Ibi agreed to do that because he was sitting on the TC, which I was not on. And Ibi mentioned to me that, look, I'm not going to put my name on this document. And I would prefer that you put your name. I said, no, you do as you wish. But that was the first typical trait I saw of Ibi. There are certain people in our revolution who would love to have a promotion of their self-aggrandizement. This was a key note to me. This man is not interested in aggrandizement. He's interested in the unity of movement. I said to him, just submit the paper to the disciplinary committee, which he did, because he was sitting on that committee. And as a result of Ibi's paper, showing how these situations will be there, but this is the solution. And that solution which Ibi took, the DC decided that paper to be circulated amongst all comrades. And consequent to that, unity became the fundamental stone that brought all comrades together. That was the first highlight I saw of Ibi. Now, the second milestone that I saw of Ibi, Chota as we called him at the time, was the fact that Chota was very much passionate about a lot of comrades who had not gone very high in academic studies before they were arrested. And most of those comrades were from the Transkei, Eastern Cape, and some from Natal and the county. And it said, this must be done. Some of the comrades could not even write the letters. They had to ask young people to write letters for them. And EP said, this situation cannot be tolerated. Open up classes, academics, basic reading, writing, and all these things. This was a success and a milestone, which EP did. The next point, Comrade Chair, I want to say about Edie is that this man taught me that what he said was this. Majaj, I've read before I came here a booklet that is called Letters from Prison. This book was written by Gramsci. Most of you will know Gramsci when he was in prison. One of the things that Gramsci taught was that as soon as a political detainee is detained, the first thing they must think of is escape, or if that is not possible, improve the conditions you are staying under in prison. As a result of this, Robben Island being surrounded by water, it became an impossibility. And the more energies and the more focus was put on political education and academic education for the comrades. That is another success story, which EB did for us when we were staying together on Robben Island. The fourth one, which I want to highlight, is I left EB because I was doing 8 years and he was doing 15 years. And he got out sometime in 1979. And when he got out of prison, he got again to his element. He immediately identified the underground forces, and he became a permanent inhabitant of the permanent underground situation. That is another milestone in the men's search for freedom. And then the last point, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, the last point I want to put on EB was when he was released, he went underground, speakers have said so, but there came the time when a new government was set up where the ANC had the majority in power. EB started as an MP, and as time went on, he became a deputy minister of international relations. I used to have some discussions with him at that time, telephonically, sometimes we meet in Cape Town, where I'm staying. And he had this to me. He said, no, Majash, there's something that is worrying. There seems to be an element of careerism amongst some comrades who are either in parliament or in government positions or such type of things. And he said, we must sit down and take note of this and try and dissuade its growth amongst the comrades. And as a result, as time went on, when EB had left from the international relations, he came back and worked in parliament in the president's office. Whenever I met him, I said, what are you doing about this careerism that is growing? Not everybody, but he could see the trend was that. And he said to me, you know, careerism in the post-independence era in most African countries is an incubator to cliquism, is an incubator to self-aggrandizement, riches for people, and forgetting what the purpose of the revolution was. Again, this is another milestone which this man taught me. Madam Chair, I would have loved to speak more, but the last point I wish to make. When I heard that I'm invited to say one word or two on my mentor, my great big brother, I don't know what I called him. He taught me everything in life because I was very young. And the last thing I want to mention here is EB's, ability to relate to people. He does not have to know the people. He knows how to relate. People of this caliber are very rare, but our revolution in South Africa has produced quite a lot of this caliber. In closing down, my wish for better days and strength of energy for EB, Shannon, and the kids. Something struck me when I was writing this little note here. I thought of the surrender of the colonial occupation army, the French army in Indochina. And I thought of the day when the French surrendered to the People's Army of Ho Chi Minh and the establishment of the Republic of Northern Vietnam under Ho Chi Minh. What struck me was that at that time when the people had so much confidence in Ho Chi Minh, and it was demonstrated in the mass rallies that we had here in South Africa after 1990, What struck me was the slogan that was used by commissars of Ho Chi Minh in the mass rallies. There was a salute that struck me. The commissar would be chairperson, would say, Ho Chi Minh, and the masses that followed the movement in China at the time, in Indochina, would respond by saying 1,000 years. TB is of that caliber, ladies and gentlemen, where would say Ibi then would resonate 1,000 years. But let us leave it at that. Let's try and write more about this comrade. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And happy birthday to you, Chota, Shannon, and your kids.
Thank you very much, my judge. Also reminding us of our days on Robben Island and the political, ideological problems that we had and how we solved them.
Thank you, Ibi. Thank you, Ambassador Majaj Mdini, for sharing those stories. We just hope you will also write something about Ibi at some point soon, so that we can read those stories because they are inspiring. Thank you once again. We will now move to Ibi's babies, Sarah Ebrahim and Kadin Ebrahim, and as they prepare to come closer, I'd just like to recognize the presence of, the political parties that are here, the ANC, NEC members that are here, the SACP Central Committee Politburo members that are here, the COSATU leaders that are here, and also, contemporaries or other fellow comrades of EBs that are here, Comrade Welinen Tlapo, and Osopahat. I saw Reverend Frank Chikane, also saw Ambassador Mohamed Dango, also saw Babu Mek Sisulu and Sis Eleno, and also saw Bob Charles Nagula, and also saw Ambassador Perry Gilda all the way from Damascus, and also saw the presence of the Cuban embassy and the Western Sahara embassy ambassador, and also the presence of the embassy of Switzerland in Zimbabwe. So welcome to all of you. So we will now, I think they are now ready. I see we have Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Can you wave while you prepare to share your speech? So Sarah is with Kadin. So Kadin, please wave because you won't speak, but at least we want people to see you. Okay. So Sarah is 14 years old. So I won't say much about them because for now we'll just keep it to that. So Sarah, over to you.
Dad, you've always been an inspiration to me. From your days as a child in Ma's house milking your cow, to your days in the struggle fighting for your life, to the days in Parliament living on the dream of democracy, to your days with us at home telling us stories of your many adventures. No matter where you were in life, you never changed. You've always been Ebrahim Ebrahim, the humble and kind man who always tries to put everyone's needs above your own. You've always been so humble and never wanted praise for anything you did, but today I think you deserve it. Dad, no matter what situation we were in, you always try to make the best of everything, and you never stop trying to make a joke and put a smile on my face. Today, on your 84th birthday, I want to thank you for everything you do, not only for me, but for the whole family. Thank you for always being so loving and caring and taking care of us, whether rain or shine. Thank you for always studying with us for hours on end. Thank you for phoning us, no matter where in the world you were, to wish us good night every day without fail. Thank you for always teaching us never to hate anyone and for always telling me to never say no to a free meal. Finally, thank you for being the only dad I'd ever wish for. We've had so many amazing memories and adventures together. Like the time we were all
Okay, so we think we might have a technical glitch there. So we will take a break. Just
trying to keep it warm, or even
Hayden, you must show your picture.
I am.
Please continue, Sarah.
We are all praying that you'll get well soon and will go on many more adventures. I love you more than anything, and I hope you've had a very memorable day and a special year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why you didn't get the food?
I think Comrade Evie is mumbling something. Sarah, I assume you are done. Thank you so ever, very much for being bold and speak to us tonight. Thank you very much. Before Comrade Evie speaks, I'd like to check if President Kgalema would like to say something at this point, or would like to say something when we continue with the program immediately after Comrade Evie speaks.
Happy birthday, Comrade DB.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, President.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciated. Comrade Evie, we will now we'll now move to you, and after you speak, we'll allow people who'd like to say something, and would like you to say something right at the end of the program. But we'll try to move very swiftly because we know we don't have much time. Over to you, Comrade Evie.
Oh, no, thank you very much, Molly, and all those comrades who gave and who spoke and said some very kind words and wishing me a happy birthday. And I don't know what to say. I'm so humbled by having so many people greeting me, so many old friends and people that I worked with, especially in Swaziland and even in the country. And I'd like to thank all of you for your kind words and for your greetings. Although I've retired, they say, but I always said that a revolutionary never retires. He remains a revolutionary until the day he dies. Yeah, and although my age probably slowed me down, but I'm still very much committed to the struggle, to the African National Congress and the liberation movement generally. And my age and illness wouldn't deter me from doing whatever I think is correct. Now, I want to thank everyone here. I'm sure a lot of more people would want to talk, but I think there was a time factor. Thank you, Molly, for arranging this this wonderful, what you call this, a wonderful occasion. And thank you all, comrades. And I really love you.
Thank you, Evie. We're losing you.
I really appreciate the kind words that you really have, all of you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evie. We also appreciate you, and we've always appreciated you. You've continued to be warm to everyone. Thank you very much. So we'll now continue with speed once again, and we'll just ask the people who will raise their hands, the guests, not the people, because everybody who's here is a guest. The guests who will raise their hands to please maybe confine your tribute maybe to 2 minutes, if you can, please. And I'll just start with Ambassador Mohammed, Ambassador of the Sahrawi Democratic Republic, SADR, Western Sahara, we so call it. And then we'll move with speed with other guests. And at this time, we would really like you to raise your hand, and Louis will just note that quickly. And Louis will also write Shannon's email address in the chat, so that if you have messages for Ibi, you can email Shannon, because the children would like to have those and keep them. So over to you, Ambassador Mohammed.
Thank you, Comrade Molly. Good evening to everybody. All protocol reserved. I am very happy and honored to express on behalf of President Ebrahim Ghali, President of Sahrawi Republic and Secretary General of Polisario, and especially from Minister Will Salek, to whom I informed today that I will be attending this birthday virtual party. And he told me, please pass the regards and the well wishes to our comrade Ibi. So on behalf of the Sahrawi Republic, its government, president, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I am bringing to Comrade Ibi all the salutations and congratulations, and I wish him well. And I join all those who said happy birthday, Comrade Ibi. Comrade Ibi is a true revolutionary, a real comrade, a great human being, a distinguished freedom fighter, diplomat, and a political leader. I will remember forever when I came to this country in '98 as representative of Sahrawi Republic, how warm and how comradely was received by Comrade Ibi as president of the Portfolio Committee on Foreign Affairs of the Parliament. So I went to see him, and he was very helpful. He showed a lot of solidarity. I found in him the committed brother, the committed comrade, the real and the true ANC cadre, down to earth, but very committed and very principled. And that how he was over the years that we knew him when he visited us several times to the Sahrawi Republic and to Algiers, where we met. I take this opportunity to say happy birthday, Comrade Ibi, but also I want to say big thanks to Comrade Shannon, to our sister Shannon Ebrahim, a committed comrade, a true revolutionary, and a distinguished journalist who have been over the years showing us a lot of solidarity and a lot of support as a distinguished journalist of this country. And to her also, because how she is a wonderful wife and a wonderful support. And I think Comrade Ibi have been blessed to have such a unique and a wonderful person by his side. Comrade Ibi, happy birthday to you. Thanks and big congratulations to Shannon Ebrahim, to the kids, and to all the comrades who said these nice things about Comrade Ibi. I think we can continue speaking about Comrade Ibi for long. We will never be just for him, because he deserves always more. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shukran, Ambassador. Shukran. I'd like Catherine Hunter to be ready, and she will be followed by then followed by Ambassador Welile Nhlapo. But before they start, there's somebody else, Comrade Ibi, who has a birthday today, Lakela Kaunda. So Lakela Kaunda, wherever you are, can you wave? She decided to come and join your birthday rather than celebrate hers. So she's here, Comrade Ibi. So I hope she waved. I
Happy
said
birthday to my twin.
Okay, thank you very much, Lakela. We'll now then move straight to Catherine Hunter.
Good evening, everybody. You've taken me a bit by surprise here, but I just want to add my love and admiration for Ibi. We haven't worked together politically at all, but I mean, I can just see from all the conversations that have been happening that does not limit anybody's relationship, because he is so special in the way he connects with people. So Ibi and I got to know each other in 1984 in Swaziland, which was a very significant year. It was the year of the Nkomati Accord in March that year. And I had come through from South Africa to avoid a trial here in South Africa, come through to Swaziland rather. I'd just come out of solitary, 3 months of solitary myself. I was bewildered, I was scared, I was, goodness knows why Ibi was prepared to, given what was going on, take me under his wing, but he did. And I have incredibly fond memories of me picking him up on a particular corner in Mbaban. And I still drive past there quite a few times and remember him, picking him up from there every Sunday with rolls, bread rolls, and our, little goodies to go on the bread rolls Sunday times, lots of newspapers, and we'd head down the Mbuluzi River, sit on the rocks, and he politicized me, basically. He woke me up to the context of what we were going through in South Africa. As many of the speakers have already said, Ibi was unbelievably generous with how he dealt with me as a very ignorant, naive pipsqueak. Basically, why he bothered with me, I've yet, I just don't get, but he did. And very gentle, he kind of got me back on my feet, talked through my options with me. At that time, I was very, very young, early 20s. And then I left, came back to South Africa at the end of 1984 and watched with horror from a distance the news of his abduction, and of course later we knew the torture he had been through. So when Ibi was on Robben Island, second time round, I went to visit him, and a few people have commented about his hair. I remember being horrified that he had grey hair, only to find that it had been grey the whole time that I knew him, but he had concealed that. And I thought it was all to do with the experience of being in jail. And I feel extremely privileged to have remained a close friend. I haven't seen nearly enough of you, and I wish I could see you now. Throughout all these years, given that we didn't work politically together, but we shared good times. And not surprisingly, the security police at the time thought that we were having an affair when we weren't. And so, but it was, I think Ibi is like that, or was like that. He certainly connected with anybody and everybody, and it must have baffled the police, the security police watching him, however they did, as to what was going on in his relationships, because they were tight. They were very tight. Anyway, I am so grateful, and I just want to sort of put my weight behind thanking Shannon for having provided a family life, a sort of conventional, well, hardly conventional, I guess you could say, but being a bond of four of you, bringing up children. And it's lovely to see Cassia on this group here. What a beautiful girl you are, Cassia. I knew you as a little one, and I'm just so pleased to see you as part of the team here, this huge team. What is it? Almost 200 people we are all together, honoring this amazing man who has dedicated his life, been passionate about bringing about liberation and democracy to South Africa, and has continued to and will continue to. And to say so proud to know you, Chota, and on behalf of many, many other people who maybe can't be here for whatever reason, you've left a very serious impression on people. And we love you dearly, and know whoever it was, Lindy, I think, Comrade Lindiwe, who said that Shannon shoved all the women and all those who loved you aside. Sorry, you didn't. We're still here, and we want to be there for you in whatever way we possibly can. So we look forward to your memoirs, and I think that your children, Cassia, Sarah, and Caden, can be very, very proud of their dad. And we not only want those memoirs out and about for future generations to be able to learn from you from, but also for those of us who knew you in bad times. We'd like to be reminded and have a memory to hold close to our hearts. Much love to you, Chota. Bye then.
Thank you very much. I have found memories of us meeting in Swaziland in those difficult times. Thank you very much for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll now move straight to Sadia Katrada, followed by Ambassador Welile, followed by Ayesha, and followed by Mohammed, and then followed by Salim Esop.
Molly, sorry if I can just interrupt you. Could we ask Cassia also if she would like to speak? Sorry to interrupt you, Molly.
No
Shannon was just asking. I don't know if Cassia is here. Are you here, Cassia? I can't see you in your name in the chat, but I remember seeing you earlier. No. Okay, maybe she'll rejoin. Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you, Dumi.
Hello, Molly. Did you say Sadia Kathrada?
Yes, that's yes. Over
Hello,
to you.
everyone. It's lovely to meet everyone and hear everybody's stories about Chota or Ibi. Chota is like my bigger brother. He's been in our lives since in the 90s when Parliament opened here in Cape Town. And when he came down here and he used to tell us our stories, his stories, I used to get so angry. I wanted to really go out there and fight with everybody that did everything to him, but I've never met anyone that's as forgiving and kind and gentle as Chota. He is just an amazing man. His dedication and his devotion to the moral upliftment of all humankind is so admirable. And Chota, I only want to say we had the most beautiful suppers and lunches with Gora in those days. And one thing, you always kept the contact, always visited us when you were in Cape Town. And we love you. I love you so much. I love your family. I love that you found Shannon in your life. And I don't think there's anyone that loves you more than her. Your beautiful family and all your three beautiful children. I was very happy to meet Cassia when she was a young girl in those days, and she used to visit us, and it was beautiful knowing all of you. And I feel that I'm privileged and honored to have met you in my life and shared the space and time in this universe with you. So we just want to wish you happy birthday. Salim, do you want to say anything?
No, it's okay. You've said everything.
And I just want to echo all the words that everybody has said and say, I love you and we love you. And
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Birthday, Chota.
And we wish you all the best of health from now on. Thank you very much.
I was going to say something.
Okay. I think Evie was, Evie, we lost to you a bit. Go ahead. Oh, okay. I think Evie is not audible, but so we will just proceed and Evie will say something later. So we'll just move straight to Ambassador Welile Ntapo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Molly, and good evening.
to everybody. Happy birthday, Comrade Ibi and your family. I just want to add one aspect to what Comrade Lindiwe Sisulu had said. The day before Ibi was abducted, we had a meeting with him that evening to submit our receipts and invoices. Because the following day we're supposed to meet again with him to collect our operational funds. When we got to the spot, he was not there, which was very uncharacteristic of Ibi. Ibi was not there. After 2 minutes, we disappeared, came back again, almost 3 times. And we said, no, something is wrong here. Then later we got word that Ibi has been adopted. I said, no, it can't be true. We found our way right up to the place where the young man that Comrade Lindiwe Sisulu was talking about. We found him at the bar, actually, entertaining some friends there. And somebody indicated that, no, this young man stays there and his boss was taken last night. I said, oh, that's why he's got money. It means this is a young man who worked for Ibi. Of course, we took part of the money that he had, we left him with something, and he showed us the house. We went in there, of course, it was a mess. General Shock and myself, we went through just about every corner to see what we can find. We found whatever we could and retrieve. So went back, and now the next question was, what do we do? From past experience, particularly at the time of September, Cloris Dibe, when he was abducted, the whole underground machinery in Swaziland was a mess because he had broken down under torture. And when we reported to Maputo that Ibi has been abducted, and we're trying to indicate what measures we are planning to take, Comrade Jayzat at the time advised us that no, Chota won't speak. Stay safe. It was difficult to go around convincing comrades that this is what has happened, but we're not leaving our houses. We're not going to change our cars because he won't speak. And somebody said, well, is it because of his manner of speaking that they'll find difficult to say anything? Said, no, he won't speak. And indeed, that's what happened. Everything passed, nothing. If we saved our lives, protected our work, and I think the revolution in the cause, but inspired others. You know, again, we're unfortunate the day some of our comrades were killed. We went to warn Sheila Nyanda, where she was staying, that our comrades were ambushed. And opposite her place, there was a group of about 5 young white guys who she said were university students. And he said, okay, she wanted some things. She went to town to go and collect. When we got back, she was gone. And the bathroom was flowing. She was taken. And again, we said, no, but knowing her, and what she said about Comrade Ibi, because she so admired his courage, we decided that we'll do the same. We're not going to change anything, not going to move. She never broke down, and we're protected. Thank you, Comrade Ibi, for the example you set. And even the day that Shadrach Mapumulo got killed, I remember 4 o'clock in the morning, you dropped me. We dropped Comrade Keliza at his house to discover this is what has happened the following day. And when I went home, and by the time we met, I mean, you were as cool as ever, knowing how close you were. But you know, you're always an inspiration and an encouragement. I won't talk about our experiences in Burundi, and all the time we're busy in the Great Lakes with the problem of resolving the conflicts there. Always inspiring, quiet, steady, and very, 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 very good with your advice. Thank you very much, Comrade Ibi, for all that we have done. I'm sure many of those who have come across you, particularly in Swaziland during those difficult days, will be able also to make a contribution in whatever is going to be written about you. And I'm happy you are able to say this whilst you are still alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, especially reminding us of our days in Swaziland. Thank you. I really appreciate your comments.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ambassador Welile and